This one has been eluding me for a while, and what I mean by that is that sometimes you have to be honest. I don't think I've ever told you all the story of when I went to Ridgecrest. Yes, you heard me, Ridgecrest. For the people that are wondering what Ridgecrest is, it was a Christian camp, okay? Christian camp. And I went with a good group of friends whose name shall not be mentioned, but there is a huge story to be told here and a fateful, very fateful ending to this story. Let me begin by starting the trip off. I'm going to start this into 3 parts in the ending. I want you to imagine there's a beautiful day ahead. You're sleeping in bed, just like the one behind me, and all of a sudden, you wake up to see something beautiful. The alarm waking you up to go to the camp. You are ready. You've been ready, as I was, and I was ready to go. I had built a team with a good friend of mine called Santiago, and you might be wondering, where did that name come from? Well, it was because at the time there was a very famous YouTube channel blowing up that was called, or one of the main characters on there called Santiago, and my friend and I thought that would be the best team name because we laughed our heads off at it, and it was a very good name. It was a very hilarious name, and it meant something to us. And we were going to play at Ridgecrest, the dodgeball tournament, and we had to get ready for it. We already had a team of 5 ready, and we were ready to play dodgeball. We had been practicing for months on end, and the day had actually become upon us. So I woke up, I got my mom to take me to the place that we were going to depart from, and we started our trip over to Ridgecrest in North Carolina. At this point, I was so amazed and I was so happy to the point that I thought nothing could go wrong. Nothing could absolutely go wrong at all. But I was so wrong because this is just the prologue into the first part. We arrive at the camp. We arrive. I have a glimmer of hope. I have a glimmer of hope that it will be amazing, that we are going to just go get into our dorms and we are just going to get ready to go to a dodgeball tournament. But I realized as soon as I got there, you had to pay money to be in the tournament. I wasn't aware of this at the time, but my friend and I ended up coughing up at least $10 to be in the tournament. It was a lot of our money. They had a coffee shop, they had a book shop, they had shops everywhere you could go. My parents had gave me an allowance of $20 to spend while I was at camp. And my brother also had $20. Keep this in mind. This becomes important later on. What happened then is that we went to go get something to eat, right? We had our 5 people ready. 5 people. But something happened. Yes, a conflict, I know. But something awful happened that I was not ready for. We had someone wanting to back out from the tournament, someone that didn't want to play the dodgeball, because when they looked closer on the list of activities, they saw that they were going to go play laser tag. Yeah, laser tag, I know. I've never been very huge on laser tag, only when I was a kid. It's not something that really gets me excited anymore. I was so saddened to hear that this certain person wasn't going to be able to come play with us. But we need to find a replacement. We need to find someone to take their place because only in a couple of hours do we have to, and get this, trail a mountain. I want you to imagine, have you ever thought of Mount Everest? That was like what we had to travel. It was a 3-mile walk to get where we needed to be. I looked at my friend and I said, we have to find a replacement. We got to find someone that could fit in their shoes. They were bulky, they were big, and they knew how to throw a good dodgeball. But the problem was there was nobody wanting to participate. And that led us into the second part. After realizing that we only had about 2 hours left to find someone, my friend and I start running up to random people, asking them, can you be on our team? Can you be on our Santiago team? And that's when it hit me, that we had not found one person willing participant to help us in this tournament. But I wasn't going to let that elude me. I was going to find someone, just someone. And we did. We did find someone. We did. And it was a girl in our youth group that wanted to help us. Now, don't get me wrong. At first, when I saw her, I thought, how could she be on our team? She's a girl. Like, this is a boys' team, you know? And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That's kind of sexist, right? I shouldn't just assume just because she's a girl, she can't play dodgeball. She was very skinny. She's very lean. And I knew that we had to find someone to be on that dodgeball team. We had to find someone. And she was the best choice we had. She was the best and the only option. So I said, you know what? That's okay. We're going to do it. We're going to put her on the team. So we got her outside our dorm. We started practicing. We showed her our strategy. We had it all mapped out. And I said, you are going to help us win this tournament. So we started. We go up the hill. When we look above us, and it is a 3-mile walk up to our location. The tournament starts in about 40 minutes. It is about a 30-minute walk. We were going to be there just in time. As we're walking up the mountain, I start to realize something. I realize something very bad is about to happen, because all of a sudden, we see people going past us. Big high school people that look like they're almost in college, heading up to the dodgeball tournament. With our paperwork ready, we ran up that mountain so fast. We kept running, we kept going, and we weren't going to stop. We were going to climb that mountain to get to that dodgeball tournament. We weren't going to let anything stop us at all. Then that's when it hit me. Something awful. We had lost somebody. Yes. When I looked back in our group, I realized somebody had walked off from their group, and we only had 4 people. Realizing that we had nobody else to help us. They had went to go play basketball. The cursed game basketball. How could you do this to me? How could you betray me like this? My friend and I were so crushed. We ran up the mountain, and we had to find someone. We had 10 minutes left. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And I knew we had to find anyone. We went out to anyone. I went out to random kids and said, will you be on the team? Because the game and the person over it would not allow us to play with only 4 people. So we ended up finding someone that was willing to help us. But it was an arch nemesis. When we had gotten to the camp, we had realized someone had tried to make our team look terrible and tried to destroy our team's reputation right in front of us. But this was that person. With all the might and all the anger I could, feel in my chest, I had to swallow it. And I looked at this person. I said, I may not respect you, but I do applaud you for being on the team. I do. So, that leads us into the ending part, the game. As we walk in, we see the whole crowd of people. There looks to be about 200 people in here, adults, people just watching the bunch of teenagers come in and fight to the death, hypothetically. That's when I realized something. That when we looked at the rosters of team, I looked around, and I said to my friend, these people look like they're on steroids. These people look like they could throw a ball at my face and kill me with just one hit. So I did. I said, you know what? I gathered my team around, and my friend and I both looked at him, and I said this exact speech word for word. I said, it is not about winning. It is about the journey. It doesn't matter about the destination. It's about how we got here. I said, I respect this team. I respect every one of you all. I said, you all are the Santiago team. That's when my friend and I realized something very quickly, that we had got so much spirit in the team. The team in themselves cheered. They were like, wow! They were like, wow, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. Yeah. And then that's when I realized something. That when they were calling the team, they had everyone meet. And I looked at our opponents. It was a team so big that the Greek gods themselves had built them, had sculptured them to fight us. They were our first competition. So, my team and I, we got on the field, ready to play some dodgeball. They set the balls in the middle, getting ready to fight to the death. And I said to my team, all or nothing. So the game begins. The clock ticking down from 10, 9, 8. And then this is when I had just some slither of a thought. I thought to myself, what am I doing? I looked at that team and I said, there is no way we are going to beat this team unless we find a way to cheat. I've never been one for cheating, but I knew our hope of winning was so out the door if we didn't try something. So, I had a mischievous idea in my head. I thought as soon as the guy blew the whistle, I would run to the side just a little bit, just to find that one ball on the right side, because there were 5 stacked in the middle all throughout, left through right. And I said, if I am just able to get the one ball on the side and my team just go to the far right, and then as they're throwing, we run back to the left. And as they threw the balls, I said, everybody, rush to the right. And everybody did. And they got the ball. And then that's when I realized I heard a shock of thunder. And then it hit one of our teammates right this. It had the ball right here. He took that ball, threw it, and he fell down. And then that's when I realized something. I realized something very, very badly. That this person had been injured really badly. Mentally, they had been broken. I felt the spirit of revenge that I had to get for my friend following. I said, not in my house. So I told my friend, I threw in the ball. I said, throw that thing so hard that you would break through the Great Wall of China. And he did. He threw it. And it ended up hitting one of the people out. It was a 4-on-4 match now. And then another lightning bolt. 3. All hit 3 of my team members. This was becoming a ending that I was never going to forget. I realized that our hope was slithering out the door. We had nothing unless we had something, just some spirit in us. What happened to it? What happened to the battle of dodgeball? What happened to that spirit that we felt so much practicing? And then that's when I realized something. I realized something very quickly. I awoke this inner demon inside of me. It just erupted, and I grabbed one of the balls and I threw it so hard, and it hit one of the people. It was a 3v2, and my friend threw a ball. It hit another person, and they got out. It was a 2-on-2 now. I told my friend, I looked right at him. I said, this is it. This is the time that we do the special move. You see, that we had worked on a special move. This something that nobody would ever think about. The idea was this. We would throw each other's balls to distract the other team, thinking, why would they be throwing the ball? And then when we threw the ball, we faked it out like we were going to do it, and then we just threw it at them. It wasn't a very good special move, but for some reason, we thought it would be really cool and just seemed to work out pretty well. And we did it. We did the special move. But that's when I realized something. As we were stepping to the left and right of the court, I realized something. A whistle. Someone blew it. And he said, you're out. I looked at the ref and I said, what do you mean I'm out? And I looked down at my foot and I realized I had stepped out of bounds. I was so much sorrow poured into my soul. I realized very quickly that I had eliminated my own self from the game. My friend, sitting on the other side of the court, realizing that he was our only hope, took 5 hits to the face as he fell to the ground. And it was just like this. One ball. Pew, 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 pew. And he fell down. He fell on that floor so hard. I think the whole crowd at one point just looked at us and just stared at our team. Filled with sorrow, I realized something very quickly. We had lost. We had lost what we practiced so much for. The name Santiago that day was retired. It was wiped away from history. That team had never felt that much sorrow. As we walked out that building, a little teardrop dropped through my eye. And I realized something. That defeat had so much impact on my self-morale that I realized very quickly. My team was filled with sadness, and I had to restore it. I had to. I told them, I said, like I said before, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. As this speech was muttered out of my mouth, I looked at the sky. Rain started to fall. It rained all on us for the 3 miles as we walked down. I couldn't imagine the defeat that we just suffered, and I couldn't imagine what I would have to do going back home. Still to this day, I feel that sadness. I feel the revenge of wanting to beat people at dodgeball. It's something I suffer with every single day. And that is the story of how I lost all my self-confidence in myself playing dodgeball. I hope you all enjoyed this story. And if you want to see more like this on the channel, I got a lot more stories to tell. As always, thank you guys so much again for watching, and Dread Gaming out. And as always from this story, do not let your hope be diminished just because you lost a game in dodgeball. Okay, that's it.